Hello everyone, I am Tommy. Today I'm going to explain to you something new. Something new in this channel. We're going to talk about parasites, the foodborne parasites. So this is going to be a series of videos and we're going to discuss the relationship between the parasites and the food. We're going to view the fishery related parasites, the meat related parasites, then the water related parasites, and in the end the fruit and veggies related parasites. Okay, so let's begin. Here we are. So parasites. What is a parasite? Well, the definition of parasite is a being that needs to live in or on another being called a host, on which it is metabolic dependent, this is very important, causing it at least potential harm, can or cannot, without providing comparable or equivalent compensation. So this is the definition of parasites. And then we have the classification. Our classification. We're going to view helminths and specifically nematodes. Nematodes are the roundworms, the typical roundworms. They are dioecious. That means that there are males and females, and the female is usually bigger than the male. Then they have a digestive tract, they can digest food, and they have eggs that become larvae, and they have 4 stages of larvae: L1, L2, L3 and L4. L3 is in most cases the infective one. And then the life cycle is heteroxenous. That means that it needs more than one host to complete the cycle. And then we have the platenminds. Platenminds are flatworms. We have cestodes and nematodes, in particular the Degenera. So cestodes first. Cestodes are belt-shaped like worms. They are dorso-ventrally flattened body with segments. This is very important. They have segments. They possess a scolex that they use to attach to the intestine because the scolex has suction cups and hooks. They have no digestive tract, so they will compete with us to get the nutrients. And they are usually hermaphrodites on each ring. That means they have multiple reproductive systems, and that leads to a lot of eggs. Their cycle is heteroxenous as the nematodes. That means they need more than one host to complete their life cycle. Then we have the nematodes, Degenera. They are leaf-shaped type of worms, and they have an unsegmented, flattened body. Unsegmented. They have 2 suction cups for attachment, one on the dorsal and one on the top, and they have minimum digestive tract. That means they can digest something but not very complex. They are usually hermaphrodites and their life cycle is heteroxenous. Their peculiarity is that their cycle is very complex, and it is very important indeed, because they start as, for example here, an embryonated egg in feces. Then it becomes embryonated. From the embryonated eggs we have the miracidium, and then the miracidium will be ingested by a snail. We need a snail for this cycle to happen. That's why it is heteroxenous. We need a snail, and then on the snail it will grow to a sporocyst, then a rhedia, and then a cercaria free swimming. And then the cercaria can leave the snail, and once ingested by, for example, a fish or something else, it becomes a metacercaria. And then inside the humans, for example here, the exists in duodenum, and those attaches to the mucosa of the small intestine, and they become adults. So this is the cycle, and it is the same for every trematode Degenera. Okay, so let's continue. On the other hand, we have the protozoa. Protozoa are the first animal, aka unicellular animal. We have here the amoeba, the flagellate, the ciliate, and the sporozoans. They have two types of reproduction. One is asexual, and they use bipartition, like a cell we study in biology, bipartition. And then they can also reproduce sexually by isogamete or conjugation. They differentiate in male and female, and then they create an embryonated egg that will eventually create new individuals. Okay, so they have two stages, and primarily there are more in some species, but these are the main ones. The trophozoite, which is the active form of the protozoa, they do nutrition. I mean, they eat and they reproduce and they move, so they indeed live. They live, and then they have the cyst form. So when the circumstances are very harmful for them, or maybe there is not food, they become the cyst, which is the inactive form. The cysts are very resistant, and they can reproduce by nuclear division, and they're very infective. That's why we have to keep an eye on cysts, because they're responsible for transmission. Okay, so that was it for the introduction of the parasitology and the classification of parasites. And on the next videos we are going to begin the journey through the different types of parasites and the food we eat. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.